Hello, this is Bittersweet Ramblings. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm still going to go back to what I do regularly, but I wanted to throw in some shorter episodes every once in a while. It just makes it a little bit easier for me to do more of them. So these will be a brief and completely accurate summary of a film, a book, or some other media. And it's going to include suggestions on who you should or should not recommend this material to, regardless of if you watch them or not, because I'm just here to help. So today's episode is Under the Silver Lake. It's a new movie that got released to Amazon Prime. It's a really good sign if there's no marketing and they just sort of throw it to VOD almost instantly. So that kind of gives you an idea of what this movie's about. Anyway, let's get started. Do you want to watch a teenage boy's fever dream come to cinematic life? And Under the Silver Lake is the movie for you. It seems to have been dreamt up after drinking 7 energy drinks, watching Eyes Wide Shut and a few movies by the Coen brothers, and then playing a bunch of really bad noir-based video games all night. That is my concept of how this movie was dreamt up. Does this movie have a mysterious disappearance leading to an inane conspiracy? Check. Does it involve playing records backwards for secret messages, like you did when you were 5? Check. Are there tons of women who are topless for no particular reason? Check. Is there a guy over 30 with no job? I'm sorry, he's trying to make it as an actor, but goes on no auditions and isn't working as a waiter or anything, who consistently throughout the movie talks to his mom on the phone and lies about having a job. He's getting kicked out of his apartment and his car was repossessed, but he somehow still has money to keep paying for call girls? Check. Is there some rich old guy who gets a bunch of young quote-unquote brides to volunteer to go into death bunkers with him? Check. Because who wouldn't opt into that? Oh, and then are there stupid warning symbols everywhere? You know it. It's a conspiracy movie, so they've got to have a bunch of stupid symbols painted on things just everywhere. I'm gonna be honest, if I were to revert back to my teenage self, I would have watched this movie over and over again. As an explanation, teenage me watched a little movie called Midnight Madness with Michael J. Fox over and over again. It is not a good film. And also, I spent a lot of time convinced that in college, people tended to go on scavenger hunts with matching t-shirts that made no sense to anybody for no prizes. Basically, teenage me is a horrible reference for any good movies and you should not take any recommendations from her. This movie, Under the Silver Lake, has some absolutely beautiful scenes. The scenes, in and of themselves, they look like artwork. But they are almost completely unrelated to each other. It's like going to an art show where the only relationship between any of the paintings is that they were all painted in the same location. Every scene seemed to be beautiful but unrelated to any other scene. So all these paintings, you put all these paintings into, say, an art museum or into an art show. And then say that you had a bunch of teenagers come look at the paintings in the art show. And as a class project, each student had to write a different story for each painting. And then as part of the project, they tried to string together all of these stories into one storyline. This seems to be the type of movie where those kids would get done with that high school project and, go around high-fiving each other about the fact that they thought they were geniuses, while the teacher took a bathroom break to go drink from a flask in the bathroom. So now, thanks to that thorough and well thought out movie description, let's start with who you should not recommend this movie to. Don't recommend it to your parents. Not unless you want to start talking about that time that you were or unemployed, or if you are unemployed, or just trying to make ends meet and trying to get a new start. That's not happy fun. That's not a joy to remember. And they will want to talk about it. Also, the lead character spends an inordinate amount of time in this movie jerking off. So that could be very uncomfortable to watch while sitting next to mom. Or it may bring back memories of that time they walked in on you, and they may want to talk about it. So don't play the movie for them. And include the grandparents in that recommendation too. You don't want any grandparents watching this with you. You also do not want to recommend this to that, super weird and religious, creepy neighbor who insists on talking to you every time you go to get your mail. And it always seems like they're getting the mail at the same time as you. Just like they have a camera pointed at the mailbox and just see you every time you're there. If you tell them about this movie, they may interpret some of that stupid symbolism to be something to discuss more with you. Or they may ask you what messages from God you saw in all the stupid paintings on the walls. Or they may try creeping into your house and doing an exorcism on you late one night when you're trying to sleep. It just wouldn't be a good plan. Who should you recommend this movie to? Well, your teenage cousin. You should be able to convince him to buy a record player and then start listing out the possible records for him to play backwards to see if he can find, secret messages that will lead him to a bunker full of brides. Anytime he says there's nothing there, just tell him he's not listening close enough. That should keep him busy for a bit. You should also recommend this to that, super pretentious, cinema avant-garde friend or coworker that you have. The one who's prone to lecturing everyone on the deeper meaning of a movie. Just highly recommend this movie and, let them know that you caught the coded meaning in the film. But you're not going to tell them what it was because you don't want to ruin it for them. Yeah, spoiler, there's no coded meaning. But they will never admit that they didn't get it. And then you can just, every time they start talking too much, just name drop the movie and then, give them a knowing nod to just screw them. And of course, you should probably also recommend this movie to your ex. Tell them it's something that you thought they would like. And then if or when they tell you it's stupid, you can say, that's why you recommended it, because it's stupid and childish like they are. And so is their stupid haircut. And no, you're not the bitter one. They're the bitter one. And yes, I give excellent relationship advice, which should be appreciated by my friends and family a little bit more. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you and have a good one. I just had one quick postscript to add. And that is, if anyone recommends Under the Silver Lake to me, implying that I am the pretentious cinema snob that they know, I'm going to be very disappointed.